the best lesson I learned while in basic military training that the military never taught me. Let's chat about it. Peace and cheers again, folks. Mark, the Flying Health Coach. I'm back again. Just uploaded a short the other day on failing to plan, then you plan to fail, which now I want to do an extension of that video, that short, in this video here. So sit back, relax. I'm back, folks, with the brand new haircut that my hair is thankfully growing back, some new drawers. I just completed basic military training like a week ago, hence the new look and the new background. Remember, I told you I was gonna get a new background eventually, and this is maybe not the version I was thinking of, but hey, I was not specific when I said new background to the universe, but anyway, here we are. So yes, I just got done with basic military training. Currently out in Wichita Falls, Texas right now for tech school. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I've always wanted to join the military. It's been kind of a childhood dream of mine, and it's one of those things where I know if I was in my 80s and I didn't do this, I'd regret it forever. So kind of a good life lesson there too, right? To where if you know for sure, they call it the rocking chair method, at least is what I've heard it called. The rocking chair method, where if you can picture yourself on your porch, 80 years old, rocking on your rocking chair, smoking a cigar with a little glass of whiskey, your drink of choice, whatever you're doing, it's all the things that you would regret not doing. So kind of a good little tactic to think about. If you can transport yourself and associate yourself into the future and kind of, well, depends, associate or dissociate yourself. I had to think about that one. I'll do another video on that down the road, on association versus dissociation, on positive, negative feelings, because there's a difference. But point is if you can transport yourself into your 80 years old on a rocking chair and think about, if I didn't do this, would I look back and regret it, right? For me, that was the military and joining the Air Force and becoming part of the Air National Guard. So anyways, here I am. But without further ado, after that long introduction, let's talk about today's lesson, which title of the video and the thumbnail here is Fail to Plan, Plan to Fail. The greatest life lesson that the greatest life lesson that the military taught me indirectly while at basic military training. So I learned a lot of stuff in basic military training, right? I can fold a mean sock right now. I can fold some cool shirts. Learned a lot of stuff about Persian Gulf War, the Korean War, the Cold War, military history. We learned how to take apart, put together an M4. Got tear gassed, which was fun, I guess, in some really awkward sort of way. Overall, it was a great experience. Learned a lot, met a lot of great guys, a lot of great people. I would never trade it for anything. And again, it's something I'll never regret. But the one lesson that the military did not teach me during that time was life lessons, i.e. fail to plan, plan to fail. Now, what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is before going to BMT, I spent a lot of time focusing on things that were not important in my life. And what I mean by that is I changed my values, right? I became so focused on connectivity prior to basic military training, i.e. I was more focused on connecting with myself, connecting with friends, family, and just having fun, where I pretty much let everything else that was really important to me, like YouTube, go on the wayside. I value YouTube. I love doing these videos and hopefully helping at least one, maybe two people out there when they watch these think differently. Like I say at the end of my videos, I just want you guys to think differently, move a different path, choose a different mindset, all that stuff, right? I'm all about growth and personal development. But I let that go a month prior-ish before BMT started. Why? Because I remember specifically about a month before I left for basic military training when I found out, I thought to myself, what's going to happen to YouTube? Am I going to lose followers? Are people not going to watch this anymore? The algorithm, am I going to mess everything up? Am I going to mess up my future here trying to build a channel and help people? And I thought to myself, well, you know what you could do, Mark? I mean, I could just make like 8 videos. I have plenty of content ideas. I could make 8 videos, schedule them, to post 1 a week during the 8 weeks of that basic military training. Could do that. Did I do that? No. Why? Because I switched my values to where I was more focused on connecting. Not wrong, but the point is that I had plenty of time to do these things, but I focused on all the stuff that was not important enough in my life. So I put my focus on stuff that wasn't important. or maybe I should say that wasn't urgent enough. Well, not like connecting is not important, but it wasn't urgent. Your life's urgent, folks. You have a finite amount of time you're going to be on this big ball of rock spinning 24 some thousand miles an hour in the middle of the universe, right? Or middle of something in the space, in space. You know what I mean? We have a finite amount of time. Not going to be here forever, right? So when I got out of basic and I got to tech school, I looked back and thought to myself, like, man, I could have done that. I had time. I could have focused on making 8 videos, which could have done in a day. I could have spent one day, right? Because in totality, these videos are 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes long. Spend a couple hours doing some editing on them, which I'm still trying to get better at. But in reality, day or two, could have made 8 videos, could have posted 1 a week, right? Could have done that, could have kept the videos coming, but I didn't. I focused, my mind was focused elsewhere. And in that regard, that was a failure on my part to plan effectively. Now, others in my life failed too, because I got behind on some bills that I didn't want to get behind on, because again, didn't plan properly. I didn't call the companies and get things rescheduled or ask what options there were. So I unknowingly created more stress for myself because of my failure to plan. Because I failed to plan, I failed, okay? Which is the biggest lesson that I learned from the military is you have to plan. You have to plan your life and where you want to go. It's like throwing a dart at a dartboard in a snowstorm. Not going to hit it, right? Or if you like aviation analogies, it's like a pilot taking off, like me, taking off from Wichita Falls, Texas, flying directly north. I don't know the actual heading to get back to Minnesota, but somewhere north. If I fly that exact course heading, I'm not going to get there. Why? Because once I get to altitude, the wind's going to blow me way the hell east. Probably somewhere over Lake Michigan, right? Because I'm not taking into account crabbing into the wind or wind direction or any kind of magnetic variation, deviation. I'm not going to get to my course, right? That's what's going to happen in your life if you don't have a plan, a trajectory of where you want to go. Now, the plan doesn't have to be perfect, right? We know that. Even as a pilot, I know that even because if I sit down in pre-flight and I build a course and I get my altitudes, my fuel burn, all that stuff, that doesn't mean it's going to work perfectly. Stuff can happen. That's life, right? There's going to be days you're going to have storms, just like in life. There's going to be days where things just go wrong. That's where adaptability and flexibility comes into play, right? But you need to have ballpark a plan of where it is you want to go and what you want to do, how you're going to get there, right? Instead of focusing on the past, focus on where you want to go, okay? You can't change what's in the past, right? But you can change what your trajectory is and where you're going. So how do you plan though, right? Well, we'll get into how to plan eventually down the road, but what I want to talk about now, for outside of the main message of if you don't have a plan, then you're going to plan to fail, main message, but the bigger thing to discuss here is what to focus on in your life, okay? So a couple cups here, right? You have urgent and important, okay? What's urgent in your life? What's important in your life? A lot of people, and there's a lot of ways to put this analogy, so bear with me here, and definitely use your own mind to think of other ways to think about it, but urgent stuff versus important stuff. What's the difference? Well, a lot of people today, urgent stuff is like paying your bills. Which is important, don't get me wrong, it is, but they get so focused on, I gotta work more to pay my bills. Oh shit, I know this, or all this stuff things become so urgent in everyone's life because they just get behind, they don't have a plan. So this bucket full of urgent stuff that they didn't plan for, that just pops up out of nowhere because they didn't plan anything, right? Versus focusing on the stuff that's important to you. Why? Because the stuff that's really important to you specifically in your heart and in your soul, that's where all the juice is. That's the juice worth the squeeze right there, right? Why? Because when you put your heart and soul into what's important to you in your life, you're going to put more energy toward it, and you're going to be excited to create a plan to achieve your life, right? It's kind of like thinking about what's your why. Why do you want to achieve what you want to achieve in your life? It doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you might have a desk job that you don't absolutely love per se, 8 or 9 to 5 job Monday through Friday, but maybe you do that job so you can support your family and build the best family life you possibly can to support your side hobbies and things you love doing on the side. Doesn't matter what you do, but what I'm trying to get at here is A lot of people spend so much time focusing on stuff that's either like urgent in their life, but it's not important to them. So that's where you got to find a balance, right? You got to focus on what's urgent, but also you have to find time to focus on what's important to you. What's your why? Figuring out in your life, what is it that makes me want to wake up in the morning and feel fire and really just go tackle the day? What does that feel like for you? Oh, wait. Not too long, because I got to finish the video here. But you know what I'm saying. So think about that. You have your urgent bucket, your important bucket, right? Neither bucket necessarily you should spend more time on than the other. But you have stuff that urgently maybe needs to get done. Okay, I'm going to knock these things off because they have to get done now. It's like what I didn't do in the military, right? Because I had a bunch of urgent items that I should have done before I left to BMT, but I didn't do them because my focus went elsewhere. Went to stuff that was important to me, but it wasn't urgent, okay? Then you have your important bucket. Okay, what is important to me in life? Where do I want to spend the other parts of my time that is stuff that's super important to me that I have to do to fill my cup on the inside, right? And it goes into the there's 6 things that we all need as humans, right? We need certainty, uncertainty, we need growth, we need connectivity and love, we need contribution, right? We need those things in life, okay? If you don't have those things, you don't feel fulfilled. So if one bucket, if you're always urgent, right, you're always stressed out, you're always just like, go, 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 you never have time to relax because there's always urgency stuff and you're waiting till the last minute to get stuff done, and so it becomes urgent because you're not planning anything. And the important bucket is way down here. You have this big mismatch in life. You have stuff that's not important at all that you're focusing on. It's become just urgent, and it's all urgency, it's all stress. Balance them out, right? Now you can't be like this either, right? You can't just focus on stuff that's always important to you and the urgent stuff just like go to the wayside, because then things are gonna fall apart, right? You know, bills aren't gonna pay themselves. You have to work and do stuff to pay for bills in life, right? Balance, right? How do you create that balance? Some days this might be up here, some days this might be up here, but overall, as the days and weeks go, you're finding that balance between the two. That's where planning comes into play, okay? So, if you fail to plan, you're gonna plan to fail. You don't need an elaborate plan. You don't need something that's perfect, but take some time, bust out a journal. Okay, social life, finances, personal growth, right? You have whatever categories you decide to do. What do I want your social life to look like? What do I want my finances to look like? What does my love life look like? Just me personally, what does that look like? My body, nutrition, whatever, right? What do those categories look like for you? What's urgent in those categories? What's important in those categories? And balance them out so you can start to tackle each bucket and start to build the life that's most fulfilling to you, okay? So this is kind of a precursor into future videos. I want to talk about how I did not do these things properly before coming into base military training, which I could have done, right? But I could feel the mismatch. And when did I feel it? The second I graduated BMT last week, it was like, bam, my life just hit again and I got super stressed out again. Why? Because I did a poor job of planning before coming here. If I would have had more of a balance of focusing on the urgency and what's important, wouldn't have had nearly as much stress. So stop creating extra stress for yourself. Start building your life. Start balancing urgency and importance. Don't spend more time in either one of them. Try to get a balance, and just know some days this will be here, this will be there. It happens, but overall, as the days and weeks go, try to find that balance so you can live a more fulfilling life, a less stressful life, and ultimately build the life that you want. So, glad to be back, folks. Hope this video, again, I do these videos always just to make you think differently, choose different paths, choose a different mindset, and build the best version of you. So, excited to be back. Stay tuned. I'm gonna try to do a video once a week again in my OCPs. And yeah, as my hair grows back too, you'll see that growth too. So anyway, peace and cheers, folks. And don't forget, just gotta believe. See ya.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.